Hey guys, this is Paul, and I'm gonna be starting a channel this year. Today is January 20. Wait, it's 2024. January 1st, 2024. And I'm not very good at editing videos, so this is gonna be my one take, and it's gonna be janky. So just deal with it. I need to get some kind of a stick or some kind of a selfie stick or something like this. I can hold this out and show everybody what's going on. But anyway, my shop I'm working on. I'm going to just kind of show you some of the stuff I've got going on. This is basically my shop right now. It's kind of disrepair. I'm starting to build it out. You see there's insulation on part of the boards and some of it not, and but anyway, and then that's the exterior walls. The exterior walls are exposed so that I can put all that stuff in there, and then of course you look on the interior of the shop and everything's just kind of piled up in the center. It is not a pretty sight, but it'll get better. I promise it'll get better. And on this wall over here, I've got a French cleat wall that I put together. And there's some organization going on there, but still there's just a whole lot that's not organized about it. And recently I did some planing. So I had my planer set up on my I call it a work table. It's not even a work table. I literally have two sawhorses and some OSB over the sawhorses. And of course it's drooping like this, it's going. And that's not a pretty thing. I do have some wood storage back here. There's a whole lot of stuff going on back here. I've got a mobile rack and a couple of racks of wood. Also have a cement mixer back there and a whole bunch of tools back there that just kind of piled up in there. Now, as I get my walls completed, then I'm gonna start to and I'm going to start this today. I'm going to start to move my tools into place where they belong. So, for instance, this corner, I've got all this dog food piled up right now, but I'm going to take that away. I'm going to move it all out of the way. I'm going to put a lathe right here in this corner. Over here, I'm going to put, there's going to be some shelves up here. And then over here by this other door, there's going to be my bandsaw is going to sit there. So this corner is going to have some tools at the end of the day, and we'll just see how that works out. And like I said, I'm not really good at editing videos or anything like that. This is kind of my first go round, and I know that I can pause the video. So what I'll do is I'll pause this, and then as I make progress, I'll bring you back in and show you what I've been able to do. I'm sure you can hear that. We have chickens. We have a little farm. Some of the content that I have on this channel will be woodworking related. Some will probably be farm related. As I get into metalworking and blacksmithing and welding, that kind of thing, I'll have that type of content as well. But it's just going to be like a day in the life of Paul and what he's doing now. So thanks for coming along, and I'll catch you in a little bit. Hey, I'm back. Movie magic, right? The wonders of video. You didn't even know I was gone. So I've been working on this. I've got some of the pile gone now. You can see the baseboard down there. Obviously some of the dog food spilled, but that live edge baseboard that I've got down there matches kind of this live edge stuff on the windowsills. I'll get into all that kind of stuff in subsequent videos, but just wanted to give you a little heads up. I'm starting to make progress. It's only been about 15 minutes since the last did this, but once I get that all cleaned up, I'll probably make sure everything's off of the windowsills, and then I'll kind of start to explain a little bit about that and where that's coming from, and then I'll start to move some of the stuff into the corner that needs to be there more permanently, like the bandsaw and the lathe and that type of thing. But we'll get there. All right, thanks. And again, this whole editing thing on video, not my thing. So I'm going to do something like just pause the video, and then when I come back, you're not even going to know that I paused it, other than I'll probably do something like this. And we're back. So we can actually see the corner now. Check it out. Yeah, actually see it. So again, I said I was going to tell you a little bit about the history, about kind of this whole thing. I don't want to repeat myself too much about saying how I'm not an editor or anything like that on video. But here's the thing. This space was originally intended to be just wood storage for our home. We have a wood burning stove, and I've got a 12 by 16 shed that housed all my tools. I've had a lathe, I had a janky little table saw, ratchets and things like that. Just basic tools. But it was a mess. My 12 by 16 was an absolute mess. Couldn't keep it organized. It was so frustrating. But off of the back side of that 12 by 16 shed, I built a lean-to put the firewood, right? So I was going to have the dry firewood under the lean-to. Well, as times change, so do plans of mice and men, right? And what happened is I expanded the lean-to, got a little bigger. I actually built my son's bunk bed under that lean-to. And then my wife suggested that I enclose the lean-to and make a shop out here. At the time, this was just a dirt floor. You can see I have concrete here. But at the time, it was just a dirt floor. And I enclosed it. And it was just an enclosed space with metal roof and no insulation on the walls. They were just the walls. I'm going to show you. The walls were looking a lot more like that, just bare walls, like no wiring either, because I didn't have any electrical in here. I just literally had a extension cord that I shoved through the wall of the 12 by 16 shop to have a cord out here to run a table saw and to run the planer when I was building the bed. So anyway, fast forward now, it's been a couple of years and I've now enclosed the place. I've now concreted it, but I was still having an issue with moisture. Well, I was having an issue with moisture before doing the concrete because I had the dirt floor, right? It would condensate in here and it would rain on all my tools. And so I got rusty tools and I was like, oh, this is crazy. I did put some insulation. I've got this pink insulation board up here, which isn't really a lot. It's only like a 1 inch thick. But then I found this other board, this other insulation board, and this is 2 inch thick stuff. So I'm actually going to put 2 layers of that. I've got a whole trailer full of that stuff, and I'm going to insulate all the rest of this. The whole thing is going to get insulated all the way down there. So that's coming. So, but I put the moisture barrier down, I put the concrete down, and that has definitely significantly reduced the amount of moisture that's in here and it raining inside the building. It does still drip here and there, only because I just have that one layer of the pink insulation. But once I get the blue stuff in there, a couple of things are going to happen. One, it's going to hold in heat better, so I don't think I'll have the condensation buildup. But then also, there are going to be longer runs running a different direction than the current insulation board. And so hopefully that'll keep any moisture off of, stopping it from dripping down. Anyway, so that's where I'm at now. And to the point where I realized, okay, I'm going to insulate this, and I'm also going to, and originally I was just insulating. So I just put the insulation up, and a friend of mine in his shop, he just has insulation on the walls. He doesn't have any kind of boards like I've got here. Matter of fact, when I showed him what I started doing here, he says, "Oh, you're gonna have a fancy shop." I'm like, I mean, it's not fancy. I like the live edge that I got going on here. That's kind of cool. But I had the logs. There was a sawmill down the road. He charged me like $30 a log to cut it up, and I thought, why not? Sure. And I was just going to build stuff out of it, and I was going to build things to sell or whatever, projects. But the more I looked at it, the more I realized, I bet you I could use that wood and just put it on my walls. That would look really cool. And so that's what I started doing. Not complete yet. I still have 1, 2, 3 walls to go, but I've got these huge windows too, and which is kind of cool. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections done, and I've got 3 sections to go. So again, I am not an editor by any means, by any stretch. I'll get there eventually. I'm Paul, and this is my shop. This is the space that I'm going to be working in. We do have, I think I mentioned, we do have a small farm. So we have chickens, we have pigs and cows and things of that nature. So I'll probably share some of that stuff later on too, in other videos, not necessarily this one. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here today just because I think it's kind of long. But I was able to get this space cleaned up, and I'm going to start moving the things into the space that need to be there, and then kind of clean the rest of the path to where I can get this side of the area organized. Because now that I have the boards up on the walls, then I don't necessarily need to have that open anymore. The whole reason that I pulled everything into the center of the room was to get to the walls to put these boards up. Now the boards are up, I can concentrate on getting the tools back to where they belong so I can use them properly. I mean, I've not been able to use my bandsaw in probably, I was going to say 3 or 4 months, but if I'm honest, it's probably more like 6. I've used my chop saw only because it's on its own little stand, and I've kind of pulled it out to use it here and there. I do use my table saw on a regular basis, but everything else, I can't get to it because it's all kind of in the middle of the room. And so now that I've cleaned this space out, I can move my lathe over here, my bandsaw, some shelving, and then I can start down the rest of this aisle here, be able to move my chop saw into place and all that. So I'll start to get that organized, and maybe at the tail end of this, maybe I don't end this right now. Maybe I do just kind of pause it, and then when it's time, I'll show you what I've been able to do. If I do end it, thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you next time.